Hello everyone, and welcome to our greenhouse series where we're going to walk you through all of our greenhouses so that you can get planning for your planting, as well as have some other how-to videos along the way as well. So my name is Susan Lester Ryan from Lester's Farm Market on Brookfield Road, and we also have our second greenhouse location at 71 Heavy Tree Road. And today I'm here in greenhouse number 6. It smells so good, the sun is starting to shine. We can't have any better day to go through here possible. So today this is our trailing greenhouse for the most part. So this would be the spillers that you're looking for. Remember, when you're doing a container or garden, you want a thriller, a spiller, and a filler. So here I'm showing you one of the three options or three components of a great garden or container. So let's see what we have. First up, we have Tarina. This is a lovely little flower that is going to be great for the shady areas. So I like it because you have that nice true blue. There's a yellow one and a purple. Next up we have Macadamia. Nice little yellow flower. Stays pretty flat, so great to kind of fill in the area right on the side. It is going to give you a drop, but not super dramatic. And that's best for full sun areas. San Vitalia. Some people might also know these as mini zinnias, some people call them. Again, has a nice little yellow flower, but unlike the Macadamia, it definitely stays a little bit more mounded first before it trails. This one is going to give you more of a dramatic drop than the San Vitalia. Continuing on with our yellow color, we have Biddens. I love Biddens, and we've had customers who like to put it into their gardens on a bit of a slope and it will actually cover the entire ground. So again, anything that's a spiller or a trailer will often act as ground cover into a garden for you, so keep that in mind. I like Biddens as well because it's a slightly bigger bloom than a lot of the trailers, and it mixes really well with other flowers. Now here is this, I believe this is Firewheel Biddens, and this one definitely has more of an upright habit, but it is still going to kind of have a little bit more of an outwards growth to it as well, but definitely more upright than the yellow of it. Okay, next up we have Scabiola, or some people know it as the fan flower, just starting to bloom. Mixes really nice in with large baskets, I find. In a small window box, it does certainly overtake it, so I wouldn't put it in there. Euphorbia. This is a lovely little airy plant. So although it doesn't trail, it's in here because it likes to grow through other things. So you can put this in the center. If you don't want to use a spike, you can use the Diamond Mountain one. It gets much larger than the Diamond Snow and Diamond Frost. And then again, it's just going to kind of grow through all the other leaves. Gora. Again, this is an upright, but it grows really nice through all the other things. Again, gives you another option other than spikes if you don't want to go the spike or grass route. Has this lovely little gentle, delicate flower, pink, coming up through. Irisine. If you like coleus, irisine is also a great option for you. So it is just going to have this nice foliage onto it. I really like the stunning red leaves onto it. And then our bags are doing well in here as well. Black-eyed Seasons or Thunbergias. So if you ever had one of these before, you know that they can get quite tangly, and you'll see once we go through number 4 greenhouse where we have the Thunbergia baskets, they will just climb all the way up, and they're just very, very avid climbers. So they are great if you have a garden where you have a fence where they can climb up, or sometimes you can get a trellis into a pot. As I showed you in another video, greenhouse number 5, we actually have some of them done up into a little cage where they're going to grow up through. This is another climbing called Lofo. So just a nice little trumpet bloom to it. Okay, we're going to come over here to Sweet Potato Vine, or Ipomoea as you may also know it. Great little leafy foliage trailing plant. And there's actually some that do climb, which I'll show you. They're down there, so they actually climb. It's new to us this year. What I really like about this one is this dark leaf, because I find it adds a lot of contrast to any of the pots or containers, whether it's contrasting with a nice pink petunia, or maybe there's a pot that is like an orangey color, a terracotta color. I find it really stunning. They definitely take a little bit longer to fully drop, but very, very efficient and effective in a mixed basket, a mixed container. And they're good for all lights actually. So I use them a lot into our shade ones because this is a way of adding color without having to worry about flowers, because there's a lot more flowers available for part to full sun than there are for shade, but yet this Ipomoea or sweet potato vine certainly adds a bit of color without having to worry about that. Brachycomb, this is a lovely little airy flower, lovely little daisy-like blooms, and it kind of gives you that tint of blue, which is hard to get in a lot of flowers. Okay, next up, Lobularia. Now I'm going to say it looks messy in these pots, but Lobularia is a plant that I swear by because it is just a long bloomer, low maintenance flower. It is going to get a little bit messy because all these little flowers in the wind, so it's low maintenance because you don't have to go in and deadhead it. Generally the wind will take care of it for you. I love it because it's great for borders into your gardens, great if you want to put it into your on the edge of your containers for the trailers. And sometimes what I'll do for a mixed hanging basket is put this right into the center, and it will kind of grow through all the other components as well. So there's a nice purple, it's kind of like this yellowy one. There's a white knight, snow princess, blushing princess, really nice. So I say it does look messy in the pots, I will 100% say that. But once you get them out and they get their own space, very, very show-stopping. They get covered. They really and truly do look like snow. Okay, come on over on this side now. So here we have lobelia. We have a few different options for lobelia, and we actually just cut this back to make it a little bit bushier. So you're not going to see a whole lot of blooms. The lobelia is this lovely blue. This is probably one of my favorite ones to use. What is tricky about lobelia though is that it does not like to get dry. So it's great for part sun areas because you're not going to have that dry out that you would get from full sun areas. But if you have it in a full sun area, it can still work. You just need to make sure that when you're watering the container or the garden that you are watering your lobelia directly. Because if the lobelia dries out, it doesn't really bounce back as easily as some other flowers would. So there's also this nice light blue color. As you can see, there's some that are a little bit more upright, some that are a little bit more trailing. And then over here, there's even some white ones. There's some purplish ones. So there's single ones and there's also 6-pack ones, which I will show you in a second. So we're gonna take down, as you can tell, we love lobelia here. That's why there's so many options for you. Really like this super dark blue. Again, mainly because when you're putting together a mixture of flowers, it's hard to find a true blue, and the lobelia certainly gives you that. Okay, come on over here. We're gonna talk about Plectranthus or Swedish ivy. It has a delicious smell on it, and it's going to kind of, for lack of better words, it's going to flop out on the side. So it is going to have an upright to it, but then it's going to kind of extend out past the pot. Glaucoma or Creeping Charlie, as you also may know it. Technically, it can be a perennial in some cases. Sometimes if you put it in your garden or a container that's overwintered, it can certainly come back next year, but it's not always a guarantee. We will sell it as an annual all the time. Super dramatic drop. So kind of stays bushy on the top. I like this because you can kind of squish it against the side there, so it doesn't take up a lot of space up on the top, but it will give you that drop. And just look at these 2 Cali baskets. In number 6, that's where we have all of our Cali baskets, so you'll find all those there. Verbena, so there are some upright varieties as well as some trailing varieties. And verbena, I guess, is very similar to the cluster bloom that you'll see in a geranium. I like these because, again, they're really compatible with a lot of the mixes that I do. So a lot of petunias and callis, and I love this one because it's kind of like a green almost. Yeah. So the verbena, I like to say that they're kind of a bit more, I guess, sturdy in the way that they're trailing. Whereas lobelia, you can kind of train as to where it's going to go. The verbena is kind of already set in its way. So just kind of look at the plant and figure out which way is going to be trailing outwards or trailing best for your area before you plant it. And here's some more lovely upright ones. And here's some more of those beautiful Cali baskets. German ivy. Super beautiful, super vigorous. Be careful what you put it with because it will actually push out other plants and actually kind of take over an area. So if you want good coverage, German ivy is a great go-to. Okay, we're almost there. We're gonna gonna come down on this side now. We're on the last side. So now we're at Creeping Jenny. So we have some green ones. So this is very similar to the glaucoma in the sense that it doesn't take up much space on the top, but it's gonna give you that nice dramatic drop. I love Creeping Jenny because you can put it anywhere. It's good for shade, it's good for part sun, it's good for sun. And I mean, I love the yellow because, again, it contrasts other flowers within the same area or also against its own pot that you're putting it in. There's another green option. There's another Creeping Jenny with that yellow leaf. Some upright celosa, silver falls, dichondra. Again, very similar, doesn't take up much space. Not gonna be quite as vigorous as the Creeping Jenny or the glaucoma, but does the same kind of idea. As I mentioned, there's lobelia in 6-packs and singles. So I had showed you the singles, now I'm gonna show you the 6-packs. So in one of these, you're gonna get 6 little plugs. Now, the tricky part is that there is Riviera, which means it's upright. And then across the way, there is, well, that one says Crystal Palace, but it is Regatta. And the Regatta and the Crystal Palace are trailing. As you can see, they're starting to kind of trail out over those pots. So you wanna make sure you're picking the right one for your spot. Doryanthus has this beautiful little flower. I'll show you the tags. There's none of them blooming quite yet. And it kind of looks like a succulent leaf, actually. It kind of gives you that nice texture. So a lot of people will actually put them into their houses as houseplants. We can certainly do that. Vines, love them, love them, love them, especially big baskets. Don't want to have much space taken up top. You can use these. Kind of have a bit more volume, I guess, than the Creeping Jenny would. And there's a few different colors of those. Okay, we're on the last row. Licorice plant, again, pretty vigorous. So similar to the German ivy, you want to make sure that it's not going to take over your pot. You kind of want to make sure that you have other established plants with it, but it does integrate very well with other ones. Here's a 6-pack trailing lobelia that I was talking about. So we're going to skim past those right quick. And then again in here we have the hanging bags. They're starting to bloom. And now we're in single callies. So callies are a great kind of 5+ hours of sun, even a little bit more. If you love a petunia but don't like the big of the blooms, these ones have a very similar trumpet-shaped flower, lots of colors into them. And I use a lot of the callies mixed in with other things. So oftentimes I'll go with a petunia and then a callie and then something that's maybe not flowering or even a smaller flower like a lobelia or a bacopa. So lots of different colors. Love the doubles, very stunning. Makes it look kind of classy, you know, extra bit of class. Lots of different colors in here. Okay, now let's just take a little zoom look up here. Perfect. Okay, everyone, so that is greenhouse number 6. This is your trailing flowers. If you want to learn more about what we have going on in each greenhouse, be sure to follow along for the rest of our greenhouse series. See you next time.